If you take us out of the world, no one's going to replace you. Like no one has the same skill set, same way of thinking.
Same
and it's
gifts,
like, exactly.
abilities, personality.
Exactly.
I don't know where I'm going. I don't know what I'm here for. Welcome to Day in the Life podcast. We decided to launch this podcast because we're super passionate about helping other people discover their divine purpose and helping guide them into doing exactly what they're called to do and help them find their potential and passion. So I recently found this really fascinating theory by Howard Gardner. He's a psychologist and he has this theory and it's called multiple intelligences. And I just think it is so good to have an awareness of this. There are humans out there with multiple intelligences and we naturally veer toward one, like more dominant intelligence. Sometimes people can veer more toward two. But I've got a list here. I've got about several and I would love to read them all to you. Because it just brings such a peace of mind, to know that we operate differently and we're called to operate differently.
Well, we were talking about this before you quickly read them and why it's actually important. Yeah. Because we'll explain it when we go through, but obviously maybe the education system probably favors some over others, which can leave people feeling disheartened like they're stupid or dumb when actually they're fantastic, but not in an area that's necessarily recognized by school, university, etc. But anyway, tell us what they are and then we can talk about them.
I actually think the school system have mastered one form of intelligence, which we probably, when we hear the word intelligence, we probably think, oh, it's just merely intellectual. Why do I struggle to say that word? Intellectual? Did I say it?
Yeah, you said it right the first time. Anyway, tell us what they are. Tell us what they are.
So I think school naturally veers toward the mathematical, logical intelligence, which I would say would be someone like Albert Einstein. They're the people that are good at looking at problems from a rational point of view and working through them systematically. Yeah. So there'd be people like accountants and teachers and I would even say doctors. Yeah.
I agree.
So there's also linguistic intelligence, which is words. And so that would be someone like William Shakespeare, King David, writers, speakers, lawyers, poets. And they're able to understand and use spoken and written language really well. Yes. So they're very good at expressing themselves in both written and verbal communication. And they're also the type of person that can learn new languages easier than the average Joe.
Makes me think of my friend Timmy.
Yeah.
He learned 3-4 languages recently. He's an international lawyer. Anyway, shout out to Timmy.
Shout out to me. That blows my mind.
I know, it's crazy.
Now, I love this one. Musical intelligence. So these are the kind of people that can just pick up any instrument and just start playing it. They have the ability to comprehend and produce musical skills such as rhythm, lyrics, and patterns. They think in music and rhymes and learn concepts easier when turned into a song. I even remember being in primary school and we had to learn Bible verses and tell them to the teacher. And I would sing my Bible verse to the teacher.
That's awesome.
It helped me understand it. But also helped me memorize it.
Well, that's how we learned the ABCs as a kid.
True.
We sing them.
Yeah.
Musical intelligence, I just think of that ginger dude, Ed Sheeran, Skrillex, those kind of guys where it's just somehow they can just think of new musical sounds, songs, whatever, out of nothing. And I'm
even
blows
Justin
my
Bieber.
mind. Yeah.
Justin Bieber picks up the drums, the guitar,
crazy.
Sings. It's awesome.
Yeah, it's cool.
The next one is bodily kinesthetic intelligence. So these are the people that are really good at using their bodies and connecting with their body with a greater sense of timing and coordination. So I would say Lionel Messi,
he's
soccer player.
He's a
so
freak.
coordinated, amazing.
Yeah. And spatial awareness as well. You got to see clips of this. It blows my mind. As a soccer fan, everyone's like, "Oh, Messi walks so much. He doesn't even run a lot." But if you watch him, he just his awareness of space is just mind blowing. He'll just drift into holes, and by the time he gets the ball, you're like, "How? Why is no one around him?" But it's he's just been walking, watching, checking his shoulder, and then all of a sudden he has all this space. But it's that whole bodily awareness, knowing where people are, knowing where he is in space. It's it's cool.
They're so athletes, dancers as well, really good at using their body. Got a few more. Abstract and picture intelligence. So these are people that are really good at using their imagination and visualizing things. So that could be someone like an artist.
Architect.
Picasso is a good one.
Yeah.
Architect, fashion designer, landscaper, those types of people that can see it before it's created.
Yeah.
And now my last two are my favorites. So we've got
These are very much you.
The intrapersonal intelligence is someone that's reflective and they're very passionate about personal development. So they're good at looking in themselves and go, why did I respond that way? And, you know, what can I do? Where's that rooted?
Yes.
And then they go deeper into that, and they're just very good at
like
developing their
psychologists,
character.
those kind of people.
Yeah. And I think we all have an element of all of the intelligences, especially.
We at least should.
But I think that's especially one we should try and advance.
Yeah. I agree.
And then last one is interpersonal intelligence. So these are the people that are just really good at reading the room. They're good in conversations. They can talk to other people and go, this person's just a little bit sad today. And, you know, they're just very tuned in to other people.
Aware of others.
It's amazing, isn't it? It's very selfless kind of intelligence.
It's an amazing skill. Even like, I think almost in any job or sphere that you're in, that's so pivotal, you know, to be able to read people and help people anyway.
Yeah. I just wish I knew about multiple intelligences, like theory, when I was at school, because if I did, like statistics show, if your heart is engaged as well as your mind, you actually learn something 2 to 4 times as fast.
It's true if it's interesting to you.
Yeah.
But that's where the reason we wanted to talk about this today was like multiple intelligences. Like we said, what we feel anyway is probably the school system, university system is very tailored to some. Yes, there's like musical degrees and other things you can do.
Yeah.
But really like school, I think, makes us excel in some of them. But if you go through school not knowing why, like maybe you're not very good at science or maths or whatever, and then just feeling stupid, but you're actually fantastic at another area, it's so important to know that so that you don't go through school or uni or whatever feeling stupid. So you can actually find what you're passionate about. And
that's, I mean, a huge part of why we wanted to do this podcast is because we just want people to know that they are unique and that they have a purpose, and it is uniquely in their DNA, you know?
Yeah, it's true. We're all so individual, so specific. So like there's only one Cianna in the world, only one Isaac, only one of you.
Yeah.
And we all, like, if you take us out of the world, no one's going to replace you. Like no one has the same skill set, same way of thinking.
Yes, same gifts, abilities, personality.
Exactly. And it's like there's a you-sized hole in the world that only you can feel.
Yes, we need people to be them.
Exactly.
Like don't look to the left, don't look to the right, don't compare yourself, put your phone down, don't compare yourself with anyone else. Just be you, because you can be powerful when you completely envelop yourself in who you are and just be you.
And we wanted people to find that uniqueness because like we were talking about, like, even in terms of school is designed, and school is great, by the way, don't feel like we're knocking school, but like school and universities are designed to create people to do jobs, and jobs are good and jobs are great. We have jobs and we enjoy our jobs, but they're not necessarily designed to cultivate uniqueness and to help people understand that they have a specific purpose and calling in life. And like, if you have that frame of mind, I need to do this because that's what smart people do, and this is how like the world works and I need to operate. You can, like, we can share in a second about our stories, like with just that mindset of I must go to university to be successful, or I must.
And that was me.
Exactly. And I must do this if I'm going to be anything in this world.
Yeah.
And we just want to break down those stigmas and just show people that no, like, it's so important to just find what you're passionate and good at, to find purpose in your everyday life, and then just to do those things with such passion, because like those things only you can do the way that you do them, and no one else can.
There's a fear that people sometimes have, and where they think that they have to do something really good, achieve a really good degree to get money, to make money, because ultimately we need money. We need money to survive. But I think that is a dominant fear, and it was something that I had, you know, growing up at school, and that's why I think it's in their best intentions, the school teachers and educators, to be like, you need to go to uni, get a good degree, get a good job, get a good career. But we watched this TikTok like recently, and it's meant to be funny, but it made me so sad.
Yeah,
and it was this girl in the car, and she's just got her coffee, and she's like, what did she say?
She was like, is this the train one or the car one? Anyway, one of them was
the car one, and both of them.
Yeah.
But they were both like, they basically just got their degree and they're having interviews.
New in the workforce.
Yeah, new in the workforce. And they're like, okay, but what's your experience? And they're like, the degree was the experience.
They're like, how do you need the degree and then experience?
Yeah,
it's so true, trying to find that place. And then the other one was talking about like the 9-to-5 grind and just the difficulty of that and the lack of freedom you have outside of that and so on. But yeah, I think that if you find, like you were saying, what you're passionate about and you do that, it doesn't feel like that. that grind. And you have days where it's a grind and an effort, but there becomes such an ease to it when you're actually doing what you're passionate about.
Oh, totally.
But I think it would be so important, Bub, for sorry, I call you. She's my wife.
Isaac calls me Bub.
Anyway, I think it'd be so cool to share people. Like if you were, so you're 28.
I'm actually, I am.
Yeah, no, you're 28. So if you were sharing.
The COVID took these years away from me. I forgot how old I was for like the last 3 years.
She genuinely did. Someone asked her and she didn't know.
I told a doctor recently that I was like 2 years younger than I was.
Anyway.
I'm a true Gen Z.
You are. But if you were to go back and you were to tell your 18-year-old self or your young adult teenage self some advice, and we're gonna like just be like, share something with them about this whole thing and purpose and stuff.
Personally,
what would you say?
for me, I would just go back and just say, you don't need to go to uni to be successful. There are so many other things you can do, Cianna. Like you can go to TAFE. You can do an apprenticeship. You can, I ended up going to Fit College in the end. Like I think I did the uni thing. I took my gap year. I went to uni. I was studying, got my OP, which is now called a rank. And I went to uni to do a Bachelor of Clinical Sport and Exercise Science, which would have made me a really qualified personal trainer, I believe, and then also like put me into like another degree if I wanted to. But I remember like I never knew where I was. I hated everything about university.
It
was scary. It was daunting.
Yeah.
It wasn't I didn't enjoy it. I'd be late for my classes just trying to find out where block F was. I remember being in like, I think it was biology or chemistry or I don't even know, but I had to prick my finger to get the blood out
for blood
and I
glucose.
cried because I hated it. And so I knew instantly I'm going to fail. I can't prick my finger. And then I remember sitting one anatomy exam. So this was like 3 months in, I sat my exam and then I made a couple friends along the way. And I remember we finished the exam, we were walking out and me and my few friends were just like liaising and just talking about the kind of, I don't know, the results that we got for station 4 and this and that. And I sat there and I was just like, oh my God.
You realized that
I realized that I clearly was not on the same level and I just hated it. Yeah. I remember like that was the point. Like
that was the tipping point.
That was the tipping point for me. Like I don't know if I'm allowed to say this, but I thought I was going insane. I felt like a psycho. I remember getting back in my car to go home and I was on the highway and I remember just driving along the highway and I just thought to myself, I could end it all just right now.
No, it's true. I remember conversations after that where you fought the whole way driving the highway, fought the urge to.
I just place so much value in because I think from an external voices telling me.
Well, you grew up your whole life thinking I must go to university if I'm going to have any form of success.
Silly.
Oh, no, but it's true. You had that mindset. I must go to university. I must get a high paying job or I'm nothing.
To be worthy or
exactly.
Otherwise I suck. What's the point of living?
Yeah.
Like I had placed all my value in going to university. Yeah. And so when I realized it wasn't going to work out for me, I was like,
you're like, life's over.
Honestly, I don't know what stopped me from, I just wanted to just wanted to end it. I don't know what stopped it. In fact, I think now looking back on it, it was definitely God.
Yeah.
It was God.
100%.
He just stopped me.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, I remember you getting back and being like,
safely. Did I reach out to you? Like,
well,
I needed
me.
Isaac like 10, 20 years earlier, like when he entered my life at the most pinnacle time. And I'm so thankful for you because you just carried the power of God and you just spoke so much life into me. And I think because like, my home life was pretty like strife-stricken. And so growing up, we're a product of our environment. And growing up in a strife-stricken home, alcohol, abuse, like just separation, you don't want to go home and do homework. The last thing you can think about is doing that. And you just don't know. Yeah. You're so insecure. And so I didn't have those voices, exactly. those confident voices.
People telling you you're valued and you mean something. You're
going to, guiding me, just to guide me. And I feel like you've just done that so much for me. Like you've kind of like reparented me in
but
a
it's
way.
because the
As my
polar
husband.
opposite. I've been like so fortunate and blessed, and I know that I had a significant head start compared to many people.
Yeah.
Just having two parents that are together and love me,
Yeah.
and actually told me you can do that.
You can study
do
medicine.
that. You can study medicine. You can become
do
a doctor.
whatever you put your mind
Exactly,
to.
and just having those voices in my mind gave me that confidence to not doubt myself and to actually go for the things that I wanted. And so I'm so thankful for that I can then pass that on even to you
so
and just like
hearing this.
but actually to tell you like that you mean something, because I just remember those conversations in that time of our life just being like just trying to break down those lies that you had in your mind of like, yes, I went to university and that was part of my journey, but that was because I had a specific goal at the end of it. Like I knew I wanted to become a doctor and I knew I had to do those things to get there.
Yes.
But just explaining to you that just going to uni for the sake of going to uni is just racking up unreasonable debt for no reason. Like,
oh yes, I got a HECS debt because I pulled out right after census date, so I've still got to pay my.
And you think about,
debt.
I think about so many people I went to school with, and like we were just fed this belief that you must go to uni, and the amount of people that have degrees that they do nothing with, it's not their fault.
And it's true.
It's just that they were told that they needed to go to uni. When I know some of the people that I know personally that are the most happy, earn fantastic money, have such a passion for life, never went to university but just followed their passions. And they made what they love doing into something that they can earn a living from.
That's amazing.
And it's like, I just want that for more people,
and
you know?
that's why we want to make this podcast, because we want to help people find that thing that really gets them up in the morning, gets them excited.
Yeah,
you know?
exactly.
I'm curious to know, based on like your experiences and everything, how would you explain to someone where they can find their passion?
It's a good question. I mean, we talk about this often.
Yeah.
I think, and two things I think. The first one is like, what do you find easy? It's like swimming with the current. And what I mean by easy is even if the work itself is hard, it's fun and it's enjoyable. So like time goes quick. That kind of thing that when you're doing it, you look down and you're like, oh my God, how did 2 hours just go like that? And if you can find that thing where you just get lost in it because you're passionate about it, you enjoy it, you love the grind of it. Maybe it's like editing videos. Maybe it's like learning new skills. Maybe it's trading like crypto, whatever. Like maybe for some people, I just knew some people that loved maths and engineering, and people that like me, when I'm learning things about physiology, how the human body works, whatever, I can sit there and just read that stuff for ages because I just enjoy it. So it's finding like what is that for you?
And I remember you said something one day and it blew my mind. You were like, something you're passionate about is something that excites you, but something that irks you at the same time.
Yeah, well, that was the second. Exactly.
It gets under your skin.
And that was the second thing that helps me, or I think helps people find what they're passionate about, because it's something that you have a natural frustration about in terms of, you're like, I can do something about this, or I can add value here. And it's like you almost get frustrated because other people don't care about that thing as much as you care about it. It's like you want others to
you talk about it
exactly.
a lot.
You talk about it a lot. You
annoying.
get frustrated by it. It gets on your mind a lot.
Yeah.
You have this passion for it. And when you find that, there's just like so much excitement about adding that. And that's because like God has made you with a certain wiring for a certain purpose and has built that into you so that you can add value to the world in that area.
Come on.
Like I think about like, exactly, if Albert Einstein never pursued his passion of science, if Lionel Messi never pursued his passion of football, if these people never pursued their passions, like how empty the world would be and how boring, and like we wouldn't have Teslas if Elon Musk didn't sit there and think, I could make a better car out of like a battery. Like you need people that are like, I have a passion about this, I have a frustration about this, I can do something about this, and back themselves to do it. And if you didn't have someone telling you that you can do that, and someone telling you that like, why not give it a go? Why not pursue those things? Like I was lucky I had parents that told me that, but you weren't so fortunate. But I was able to tell you that, and we want to be able to tell people that, and that they can shoot for that, you know?
I think back to it, like maybe you are listening and you are in the strife-stricken home, and you have, when you get home from school, it's pretty toxic, and there's a lot of insecurity. You're not sure if someone's going to blow a gas, or you don't know.
Yeah,
just,
home's unstable.
Home's unstable. It's probably the right word. If you get home and it's a bit unstable, like I just want to encourage you, reach out to somebody. Reach out to an adult, someone who's like, you're confident that what you say is going to be confidential. they're trusted. Maybe you see a teacher for like 50% of, I don't know, your questions
Classes.
and advice. Maybe they don't have all the answers. So you see the next person for 50% of, maybe you've got some questions in an area. And I know you say this, seek out the people that you can see the fruit in their life. So seek out.
Yeah.
So if you want to know how to
Run a business.
seek out someone who's got a successful business.
Well, I mean, I was lucky to do this, like, because like we attend a church, and I literally would just look at people who had a life that I wanted for myself. So I think about this like really beautiful African doctor couple. Their son is one of my best friends, and they were just the most phenomenal people. And particularly this guy named Dr. Deji. And I remember when I was like wanting to become a doctor, and I sat down with him and I was like, just ask for his advice. Like, how did you get into what you're doing? How did you know you were passionate about it? How did you study? And I just surrounded myself with people that were doing what I wanted to do in life.
Yeah.
And that had great lives. Like, I didn't want to sit down with a doctor who was a great doctor, but his family life was shocking.
Yeah.
His finances sucked. The rest of his world was turmoil. Like, find people that you look at how they deal with, how they treat their wife, how they treat their kids, how they deal with different areas of their life, and find people that you're like, that's someone I can look up to, and someone I can, and just be bold. Go up and approach them and be like, hey, I would love to chat you for a coffee. I'd love to sit down with you and just pick your mind.
Yeah.
And there's just so much that we can learn from other people that way. And
What's
I
the
mean,
worst
I'm
that
a
can
product
happen?
of that. Exactly. The worst thing that can happen is be like, oh, sorry, I'm too busy. And you can be like, great.
Yeah.
Maybe
Yeah.
they can send you a text instead of catching up, whatever.
Because we just don't want you to do it on your own or feel like you have
100%.
to be alone and face all of this on your own. And it's, you know, if you're feeling like, oh, what am I going to do with my life? Or school's not working out for me, home life's a mess, like I don't know where I'm going, I don't know what I'm here for. We want to create a safe place to talk about things where we can help guide you and help you along the way.
And we're pumped because we're going to, like, on this podcast channel anyway, just interview amazing people doing amazing things, doing
We're
great
so
jobs.
keen.
Like, we're pumped because we have so many friends and so many people in our life that are doing amazing things.
Yes.
And we just want to ask them, like, how did they get into what they're doing? Yeah. What was their kind of journey? And like, what
does
did
it
they
entail?
Exactly. What did they study? Exactly. What does a day look like for them? What courses did they do?
We're going to be treasure hunters and we're going to draw gold out of them.
But we want to do that so that people can go, oh, okay, there's not just one straight path in, but there's multiple ways to skin a cat, so to speak. Not that anyone skins cats.
Ew.
That's disgusting. I don't know where that saying came from, but but even like, so like, I mean, a little bit about like my story really quick is like, I remember sitting down with a careers counselor at school. Shout out to her. We used to call her the dream crusher.
Oh.
But anyway, she used to have this saying where she'd be like, let's be reasonable, after just like telling her what you wanted to do.
No, wasn't it? Let's be realistic.
Let's be realistic. AKA what you want to do. You can't do that. Anyway, bless
Drop
her.
the bar.
She's all good. Yeah. Anyway, when I was sitting talking to her.
Bless you.
There was kind of this mindset that, okay, I had to sit this certain exam in year 12. I had to get a certain score plus an OP1 and then I could get into medicine, which, yes, that's one of the pathways in, but it's not the only path. And I mean, my path, when I look at the journey into medicine, I am so glad that I did not become a doctor when I was, 21 or 20 when I wanted to, because I just didn't have the skills. We're talking about the forms of intelligence. I didn't have interpersonal intelligence where I could sit with someone and empathize and actually understand. Because sometimes people come into ED and 90% of their problems can be fixed by just listening to them and just saying, and just hearing them out. And
they just want to be heard.
Exactly. They want to be heard.
Have people in their life.
Exactly. And they don't need some jaded young, bless young doctors, but you know what I mean? Like the person that I was when I was 21, I just would not have been as good of a doctor as I am now, having finished medicine later, because like I did a science degree, then I had a significant amount of time before starting medical school. And in that time I had a great job. And in that time I was growing in my relationship with God. I was growing as a husband. I was growing as a dad. Like all of these things set me up so that when I actually started to be a doctor, like I'm just a much better, well-rounded person who can think in a far different way than what I could back then. Yeah. And like, it's not to say that like I would have been any worse back then. It's just that now I reflect and I go, you know what, like everything in my life to this point had a purpose and a meaning to set me up for now. And it's like nothing's necessarily wasted. And
like
I think
you were even saying when you were working at McDonald's, you worked at McDonald's, that was like your first job, wasn't it?
Yeah, no, I honestly, like,
Woolworths.
that's such a good point, right? We're talking about finding something you're passionate about, but I would also add that you can find a passion in the most mundane things if you know that they're ultimately pointing you towards your purpose anyway.
Yes.
So like when I was at Macca's, I learned awesome communication skills. I had to learn to be bold, and because there's open communication in the kitchen, like, and that was something I didn't have before that job. And then I went into Woolies and I had to learn time management. Okay, I had to be able to look at a pallet of whatever and actually go, oh, this might take me this long. And then plan it, okay, if I get that done, I'll have time for this, and be able to communicate that to my manager. And then when I was in mass nutrition, I had to learn like sales and understanding products and learning science so that I could help people.
True.
And anyway, all that to say, like, all of these things set me up for what I'm doing now. And even though my passion and purpose and what I wanted to do was be a doctor, because I understood that there was always a purpose in every mundane thing that I was doing.
That's so
I could
key,
find joy in that. Exactly.
That there's purpose in
exactly. So whatever you're doing in life, like maybe you're doing a job right now that you're like, this sucks. I'm telling you, there's something in that job that will equip you for what you ultimately want to do. And that should get you up in the morning and be like, what am I going to learn today that's going to help me when I'm 5 years down the track, 10 years down the track?
When you understand that there's a purpose to everything, it's like having that internal rudder, like that steers the ship. It's like an internal rudder where remember I said this to you one day, like there are days sometimes where I get up and I'm just like, I've got a day off, you know, my baby's at childcare. What do I do with my life? Like there's like 12 different paths I can take. I'm like, and you kind of like go, what's the best thing I could do today? So when you have that sense of purpose, it's like you've got this like ability to say no to things, prioritize things
like a
easier.
compass.
It's an internal thing. And so you can say no to things, you can do mundane, boring tasks and, you know, be okay doing it because you know that it's going to lead you somewhere eventually anyway. It's all for a reason. It's all for a reason. It's all in a season.
But it's true. And like, oh man, I feel for people, and I hope that this podcast brings hope to people, because that feeling of waking up in the morning and being like, why am I even here? Like, what is my purpose? Like, I'm born and then I die, and there's like, what does all this mean? But we just want to instill passion in people that like, I mean, we've talked about it already a little bit, but we're Christian, and like, we are so genetically unique, and to know that like God specifically needed you for a specific purpose, to do a specific job, to impact the people around right now in this place. God wanted you this year in this place to do something with your life, to impact everyone around you.
You're not
like
a
when you wake
mistake.
up with that compass inside of you, you just, I want that for people.
Yeah.
Because like I wake up in the morning and like you said, I know that I might have like a, so to speak, mundane day, but there's so much purpose in that, because I know that there's a direction that I'm heading. There's a purpose towards what I'm doing. There's meaning to what I'm doing. Yeah. And that's just so significant. Like without that, it's like
Jeremiah 29:11 says, "For I know the plans and the purposes I have for you," says the Lord. He knows, he's actually got plans for your life.
Exactly.
If you don't believe it, I want you to believe it. Like, he has plans for your life. He loves you.
So
and he created you for such a time as this.
So true.
You're not a mistake.
Yeah.
And I just wish I had someone to tell me that growing up.
100%.
You know, I'm so glad I'm still here today.
Yeah. Oh, so I'm glad you're here. No, but like in all honesty, if you're going to take away one thing from this, I just want people to know that their life matters, and there's a meaning to why they're here, and we want this channel to just help people unpack that meaning and help people find what they're passionate about.
And we not be able to tell you exactly what you're called to, exactly what your purpose
discover
is.
it.
But we will help you. We will help give tools. We will interview some really cool people who
might spark an interest.
Spark some interest. Maybe you hear someone and go, "Oh, I don't want to do medicine now after hearing that."
Yeah, we'll give you maybe an episode coming up. Maybe I'll give you the insights into
some doctors.
Yeah, some entrepreneurs, some psychologists.
Yeah.
Pathologist, lawyer. We've got some great friends.
We have some really cool people in our lives, and interesting people that we cannot wait to interview. So.
Yeah, and it's our hope. It's just going to help you guys unlock those things, discover those things.
So enjoy the ride. It's going to be awesome. Yeah.
Hey guys, we hope you had so much fun listening to this first episode of Day in the Life, and we just hope you got something out of it. But we hope that if you did, that you would like, subscribe, give the thumbs up, all of that jazz, and we'll see you next time on Day in the Life.